you think? Do you agree? No? Why not?
Because I don't agree with it, mate. But I think that's the whole point.
What do you think of like bullfighting, for example, or dog fighting?
No, I don't like it. No.
What about badger baiting?
I don't like anything like that.
Anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay. What about sending animals into a slaughterhouse to be shot in the head and have their throats cut and get turned into a burger? What do you think of that?
I don't like the thought of it. I try to think of it as little as possible, but I wouldn't say that I haven't partaken in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate you, Mark, for being honest. That's why I'm here, and I'm not here to judge anybody. This is like
it's meant to.
It's like reverse psychology.
I get that.
And I'm a vegan and I'm an animal rights activist, and I genuinely, I mean, I paid for it as well without thinking about it for a large part of my life, and then I became aware of information that I didn't have access to before. Somebody sent me a speech one time on YouTube, and I was like, the hell am I doing? I would never hurt an animal, neither would you.
Yeah.
If somebody was kicking a dog over there, what would you do?
Of course you'd stop. You'd intervene immediately, you know.
But in this country,
indirect. Just
to give you one example, do you know how we kill pigs in this country?
Do I want to know?
Probably not. In the most basic of terms, we throw them into gas chambers. So they get loaded into a cage and they get dropped down into a carbon dioxide gas chamber. Suffocation. Man, I've stood there and watched it and listened to them screaming. It's fucking horrendously diabolic. And you know what's even worse? The ones that are standing behind waiting to go in, because pigs are intelligent.
They're smart enough, they know.
They have it figured out from the minute they arrive that something bad's going down. Terrified. I've never seen animals as terrified in all my life. Pigs are... Most people have never interacted with pigs, but they act exactly like dogs. You can teach them all sorts of tricks. They're smart. They've all got their own individual personalities.
People have little pet small pigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But big pigs, I imagine, bigger brain.
Oh well, yeah, well, I don't know. Does that work for dogs? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe do Chihuahuas have a smaller brain than a Labrador? I don't know.
Don't know. I have a rescue dog at home, and he's very intelligent. But I've also seen small dogs that are intelligent too. But big pigs, I mean, they rate fourth. They're the fourth smartest animal. They're ahead of some primates.
Really?
So they're super smart, and we're throwing them into gas chambers, man, and you should see how they suffer. So they go into the gas chamber for about a minute or so, then they roll out the bottom unconscious. They're not dead. The reason they want them unconscious is because they're big, strong animals. So they get a shackle around one of their back legs and they hang them upside down. By this point, they're conscious again, and somebody sticks a knife in their throat, and pigs have to bleed out, so their heart has to be pumping, so they're fully conscious, screaming and wriggling, man. It's fucking horrendous.
Sounds very pleasant.
No, so all to make a product like bacon when you just buy a vegan alternative instead. In every supermarket now, there's like even Denny's who make pork products.
They have their own.
They have a vegan bacon now, which tastes really, really good. You go into KFC now, man, they have vegan chicken nuggets. McDonald's have a McPlant burger. It's the same price. It's easily available. So my question to you would be, and to everybody, and the question I ask myself is, what do I value more, taste or an animal's life? And that's what it boils down to for me. You don't even have to value animals on the same level as human beings.
No, but it's life in general, isn't it?
Yeah. So they suffer terribly throughout their whole lives. Pigs live in shitty conditions, as do most animals. And then at 6 months old, they're loaded onto a truck and they're taken to a gas chamber.
And if I were to, because I'm sure you've heard this one before, right? I'm guaranteeing you've heard this one before. But if people say, and I were to say to you, well, what about the fact that these animals wouldn't have had life in the first place?
I get that. So the farmers are breeding them into existence to kill them. But
so
it's
there's
not,
no market.
It's not a life, man. It's not a life.
No, it's not.
I mean, would you want to be born to live 6 months standing in your own waste and shit?
Yeah.
Have you seen the farms that pigs live on, man? 24 of them in a small pen. Their smell and the stench in those places is fucking terrible. They're standing on their own shit and their own urine. They can't sleep because there's constantly other pigs on top of them. So they live like that for 6 months.
It's not about life. It's about making something that you can sell.
That's exactly it. They're a commodity. They're not an animal with a life and a brain and people think they can't feel pain and suffer. Of course they can, exactly the same as a dog can or you can. So they live in these shit conditions for 6 months, and the only time they ever see sunlight, man, or feel the wind in their face is the day somebody forces them onto a truck and takes them to a gas chamber. So would I rather not be born? My answer to that is I probably would rather not be born than suffer like that. You know, so chickens, the ones that we eat, 48 days old. Beef cows, you used to kill them around 18 months. Now they're killing them between 12 and 16 months because that's the most profitable time period. So, I mean, they can live to 30 years old. So, if somebody said to you before you were born, hypothetically, okay, you're going to be born, but you're going to fucking live a miserable life, and then you're going to get...
Nobody said it, but that was the truth anyway. So,
you know what I mean, man? So to me, it's just not worth it. When you can buy something else in every single Tesco's and Sainsbury's and Aldi and whatever shop you shop in, there'll be vegan products. And some of them taste... Some of them I don't like, some of them I do like. It's like meat products. You don't like all meat products. So it's just finding the ones you like. I'm buying plant-based milks, and I mean...
But you don't like milk either? I mean,
well, the dairy industry is the most cruel of the whole lot, man.
Is it?
Of all of them, yeah. People don't even know. The dairy industry is
like, you know, because you're not taking the animal's life, right? So dairy, cheese, milk.
Well, can I tell you? I'll take about a minute. I'll tell you the whole dairy industry in 1 minute. So they artificially impregnate the mummy cows because the only time they
stimulate the breast milk.
Yeah, they're mammals, like a human mammal. So you have to either be pregnant or have given birth. So they're constantly in a cycle of pregnancy. Pregnant 9 months. As soon as they give birth, the baby calves are taken away, which is very traumatic for a mother. I've seen them crying night after night after night. It's traumatic for the baby and for the mum. The baby boys are useless to the dairy industry. So the herds you see in the fields, you know, the black and white Frisians, they're all female, every single one. The boy calves are disposed of at birth, most of them.
Disposed of?
Yeah, so the farmers, some of them will shoot them in the head or put them in the ground and hit them over the head with a shovel. As soon as they're born, they don't...
But don't they, like...
They're not good for meat, no. Oh. If you see the dairy cows, they're much skinnier and taller. They don't produce good meat, so they're not profitable. But what some farmers are doing now is they send them to the market and they get sold for like dog food and cheap meat products. And some of them go into the veal industry, which is illegal. Veal pens here are illegal, so they'll send them to Europe or northern African countries like Algeria, Libya. They go and they stand in a veal pen for 18 weeks with a chain around their neck in darkness. And then somebody pulls them out of that, they get a knife across their throat, and they sell them in like restaurants as for veal. It's like a delicacy. They'll be baby calves, man. And the baby girl, or the girls, go back into the industry.
Yeah.
4 or 5 cycles of pregnancy. Pregnant, give birth, pregnant, give birth. 5 years old, maybe 6 at a push. They start to suffer because being pregnant and being milked every day is really hard on them. Sure. So 5 or 6 years old, their milk production declines rapidly. Guess where they go? Off to the slaughterhouse. So that's absolutely exploitation of animals for profit. When you can just go in and you go into Starbucks.
I've never actually tried, like, I mean, I've tried my ex-partner, she was not vegan but vegetarian. So I tried loads of stuff, you know, and it was pretty good, most of it.
Yeah.
But one thing I never actually tried was a dairy or milk alternative. Yeah.
Go into Starbucks or Nero and get a cappuccino with oat milk. And I'm going to say to you, it tastes a little different. I'm not going to say it tastes worse or better. I prefer it. I prefer it in my coffee. You know the way milk sometimes leaves that clawing thing around your mouth?
Yeah, like a film.
Yeah, you don't get that with oat milk.
Really?
Tastes really good. And even if it was 5% different, it is 5% different.
But it's worth it.
Better or worse, that's preference. Yeah. Is that 5% difference worth putting wee baby boy calves on the ground and lamping them over the head just because they're not worth any money?
I understand that.
You know,
so even if there's a small sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice for the greater good.
I agree with you, man. So, I mean,
honestly,
what's your name, man?
Morgan.
My name's Cliff. I'm going to give you a card before you go. I appreciate you stopping. This is reverse psychology. I was trying to get people in that conversation so that I can impart some information. What people do with that information is completely up to them. No, man, it's good information. Most people get it when you say it to them. I didn't know. And I'd rather somebody told me than just go through my whole life and pay for something I don't want to pay for. These are Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy. Shows you the damage that the animal agriculture is doing to the planet. Game Changers is like athletes who are eating a vegan diet.
Yeah.
NFL players, UFC boxers.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And loads of athletes now are turning to it
Healthy,
because they
high
realise for
protein and-
longevity.
Yeah.
Animal products are bad for you, man. Full of saturated fat and cholesterol.
Yeah.
Loads of athletes now eating plant-based. The DominionMovement.com is a hard watch. It shows you exactly what's happening in the industry, so it's very hard to watch. I would recommend anybody to watch it if you can, but it's disturbing, man. It'll stay with you.
Yeah.
And the top one is probably the one I ask most people to watch, the best speech you'll ever hear. It's just a guy on YouTube. He's giving a college lecture and somebody filmed it on their phone.
Yeah. Is that literally what you'll have to search for? Search for
The best speech you will ever hear on YouTube. It's a guy called Gary Yourofsky.
Yeah.
If you can't remember that, drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll link you to it. Man, it's literally the best thing I've ever watched in my life. I thought I would scrub through it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's about 40 minutes long. I got to the end of it and I couldn't argue a single word the guy was saying. And I just was, well, you know, I have to change. And I'm not saying everybody's going to change immediately, but it's a new perspective.
Cliff, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't look after myself in general. I mean, forget about the whole meat thing. I smoke, I drink. You know, I'm currently homeless, so you know, on the stack of my priorities, to understand that that doesn't fit very high. It doesn't mean that I don't agree with it.
I get it, and I'm not going to preach to you, man, that when you're homeless and you're struggling for food and stuff, I get it. It's fucking hard. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like I'll buy the homeless guys around here some food, but I would always buy them stuff. I mean, Greg's do really cheap vegan food.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do a vegan sausage roll for £1, man. It's really good. Yeah, it tastes exactly the same apparently as the normal one, you know. So,
well, I mean, Greg's ain't the best anyway. So, yeah.
But we all suffer in life, and I'm not suffering like you're suffering. You're homeless, and I mean that's fucking terrible, man. I feel bad for you, but my ethos would be, even if I'm suffering, I don't want to make somebody else suffer as well, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's not me preaching to you, man, that's just how I see it. And if you can choose to... I see it when I buy the product, that I am paying somebody to hurt an animal in some way, that I would never do it.
No, I get that.
You know?
I get that. People don't think of it that way. When you see a ham sandwich in a Tesco,
you're taught not to think about it.
You know, you're
taught from your this high that it's normal and it's necessary, and it's not necessary. I haven't eaten an animal product since I was 19, man. I'm 55 on my next birthday.
Is it? You don't look 55, brother. You don't look 55.
So if you could, I'm living proof that you can survive and thrive by eating plants, and I eat cheap.
But I mean, like, it's only now that there's so much this vegan stuff. How did you survive? Because there wasn't always. There wasn't that much, right? Am I wrong?
There wasn't, but I mean, you don't even need the alternatives.
Yeah.
You can just eat. So say you're making a curry, you can make a curry with like
cauliflower, for example, or
sweet potatoes, lentils, stuff like that. You don't need to have fake vegan sausage or fake vegan chicken, you know.
No, I get that.
And that's the cheapest way to eat. I mean, rice and pastas and potatoes and stuff's all the cheapest food, man.
I told you, like, the ex-missus, she ate like that, you know, all the time, and like cauliflower curries and stuff like that, you know. I never understood, actually. I never spoke to her about it, ironically, what her reasons. I knew that her reasons were animal related. It wasn't. Some people don't like meat. They just don't like it, and they won't.
More women would be that way in my experience. They don't like meat.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, I think. I think they realise it's the flesh, you know, somebody's flesh or somebody's body you're eating, you know, when you're eating.
Yeah.
Man.
When you think about that, mate, listen.
Thanks for stopping,
man. All the best, man. I'm off to Derry.
What are you doing down there?
A friend's going to put me up for a couple of days, so
good.
I need to sleep, mate.
Yeah, man, comfy bed and a shower and stuff, so need it. But if you get a chance to jump on YouTube,
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna actually literally look up that now. The best video that
it's the best speech I'll ever hear, and it's Gary Yourofsky.
I don't need to watch it, right? I can listen to it.
You can just listen to it, man. It's great. It really is great.
I'm gonna do that now, brother. 22
million views. Really powerful, man. Yeah. If you think I'm giving you some truths, listen to this guy. I just like, fuck it. What can I do?
Best speech I'll ever hear.
Yeah.
All the best, mate.
All right, bro.